Is a film coming to Netflix this week. You can look that up for yourself. I don't exactly remember when it was coming out, but it was playing at my theater. So I went to go see it before this film actually came out because I could do an early review. I am a fan of older movies, and what I enjoyed about this movie is that it felt like a movie from the 40s, from the 60s. The main actor in this, he doesn't share too much resemblance to him, but he reminded me of Gregory Peck at points. He was fantastic. All the acting here was actually pretty good. Where this film faltered to me is the clunky storytelling, the length of the movie. This movie did not feel like it needed to be this long. They waited too long to reveal the kind of twist. Because what this movie's about is you have this maid, help or whatever, and she meets this guy and she falls in love with him, and she has no family, and she lives with him. She goes to go live with him after their honeymoon inside of his house, but she's haunted by Rebecca, his late wife, who's since deceased, and kind of and she doesn't really know what happened to her, and a lot of it is kind of uncovering what that was. And for the amount of twists and turns with it, it did not need to be this long. They stretched things out a little too much. Yes, you don't predict where the story is going. It's not predictable, but it just feels like it's going on, and sequences are just going on way too long. Some scenes are paced too fast, some scenes are paced too slow. It's a very awkwardly paced movie. It is kind of the effective love story between these people. It makes you feel creeped out. I feel like they could have used this, if they were going to make it longer, they should have made it a lot more scary, made you scared of this person more, try to give you more stuff like that. It's also awkwardly edited at times because they try to make the shots visually interesting, and the editing, I appreciate that, because what I just criticized about The Honest Thief, which I saw yesterday, was that it wasn't visually interesting. So you have this movie that's generic and boring, which this movie can be considered that, but it didn't even have the advantage of being visually interesting. And so this movie is kind of the opposite of that. It tries a lot more with the cinematography and the editing, but some shots cut between events that are happening and then that are happening. So it's hard when they keep cutting back so quick to go, okay, this is happening right now, this happened a minute ago, blah blah blah, and it cuts too quick, and it's an awkward way of editing things. I appreciate the attempt to make it visually interesting, but at the same time, it just makes it hard for me to follow what is happening currently while I'm watching this scene. Besides that, I think this is a decent old kind of mystery thriller love story movie that I think when it hits Netflix, it's not a bad one to check out if it sounds interesting to you. What's interesting is I saw this in the theater and there was only one person besides me. It was all right, but I will tell you this. In terms of the movie, I got up about once to use the restroom. I usually get up about once before the movie starts, and then once or twice depending on how bored I am in the movie. So bored is 3 times. Not bored is once, and that's at the beginning. And I was, for the most part, engaged. It wasn't too bad. Just the pacing would have been bit better. I actually almost fell asleep through this movie. Not gonna lie. It wasn't a horribly paced movie, but also was just like, okay, you're just dragging things out at this point. or you're just adding twists to this movie that probably just don't need to be there. So what did you think of Rebecca, if you have seen it? Let me know if you're planning to check this out on Netflix. I believe it drops tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure on that. Either way, I know for a fact it drops this week if you want to check this film out. But, I would give this... This is a hard one. I think if the pacing a bit better, I would have given this a 5. So 4.5 out of 10. So it's like a really low C, or kind of a higher C, I guess. But yeah.